Hey everybody, this is Latorian Paul, your mentor here. And today I want to pick up from where I left off earlier, talking about my cavity trades. It happened today, and I want to show you what I'm talking about. Happened a couple times. Cavity trades are trades that show up in places like this. I'm insert a few objects. We had a great cavity trade off of what my script's at? Objects, shapes, arrows, open dome. So you had one right here, I believe. That's too far down. So let me see. Right in this area. So this came down. See this wick, this right here, this wick? It wicked out right in the cavity. That's like no drawdown. That's like no drawdown. Even if you had this one here, so this little a cavity is let me show y'all because y'all I gotta explain this stuff to y'all so I can see what I'm talking about. It's like a U or a V or a up down a without the cross in the middle because I'm just showing y'all the extremes. Now gold is volatile, but everything has boundaries. I don't care how volatile a pair is. It has to have a boundary for it to be legit, and the boundaries show up in these cavities. I wish I had a. Let me see if I got some meeting tools where I can actually draw on this thing. Okay, so like you see that with the top of that hump right there, cavity, right? Come on up. That's an ugly one. That's an ugly little situation right there, boy. Ugly, boy. You ugly, boy. Right there, cavity. Come on down. Why am I calling that? Because that's how I see, right? And so you see how price came on down, gave you this little nook and cranny, came back up, gave you another one, came back up, and another one came back up, right? Those are what I'm calling cavities, right? And as you can see where we are right now, where do you think, based off what I showed you so far, where do you think price is going to go? If we look at what we have, right? If you look at what's going on, that is a cavity. This is a cavity trade within a bigger cavity trade, right? Let me get rid of these annotations on a popular trade, right? Let me get rid of all these so you can clean. I'm telling you guys, you gotta find. Okay, so look, this is a. Let me go to like the H1 so y'all can see why I'm so excited about information, right? So let's get rid of this popular. Delete. So you got a second leg within a second leg. This W pull back, douche, into this cavity. Really, you gotta really see it, right? Came down, created a low, created a higher low that fell within the cavity. You gotta know that it's going up. It's gonna break at least, it's gonna go at least 100%. So if we look at the fib, right, it's gonna break this high. It's for sure gonna break this high. It's for sure gonna break this high. It's gonna break that, right? So let's say for instance, go for 100%. Let's say go 100%, right? So let's just look at this. So this got to be, let's look at this, right? Booyah, all the way across. All right, so it's going to go back at least to 100%. 100% is right here. Right there. Come on down. That's 1,790 pips off one trade, right? And my point is, beyond all this other stuff, my point is these cavities, these places that people overlook, the tight spots, the top of the caves and the bottom of the valleys before it swoops up. Like I call them cavities because I don't know what else to call them. If the cavities on the bottom of your mouth, it got to come up to come out. if the cavity's at the top of your mouth, it got to go down for it to be cleaned out. Like you got to find a way to make this stuff make sense to you, or everybody's saying the same thing, but it's just in terms that they understand. People call it break and retest. People call it ICC. It's whatever you want to call it, whatever language is needed for it to make sense. Figure that out. For me, it's cavities because I see them. I literally see them. Now, just because you see a cavity, that does not mean that price is going to come back to that place. And sometimes the cavity you don't see on the bigger time frames will be shown on the smaller time frame. Right? So here it goes. Let's just look for cavities. Look for places where price, and it's in the most underestimated place is where price apparently seems to be doing nothing, but it's really doing a whole lot. So this right here, all this range, this 100 pips of range, right? Doesn't seem like much, but this is the catalyst for this big pullback that gives you this big move. This is a cavity. It's a cavity. It's a cavity at a high that becomes a low. How do I know that? Well, I have to wait until price shows me. But based off what price showed me, by the time it gets to here, I understand that this cavity is at the top of the mouth of the market, which means what? It wants to come out. It wants to go down. So what do? I wait. If I want the best trade set up, if I want the best options, I wait for price to come in this area. And when it comes in this area, I then sell. I sell here, and I don't have any cavities saying that they want to go up. None of them saying that they want to go up. By the time I get to the low, it hits what? 2,000. It comes back close again. It hit that same, 1,900. Nobody's sad about that. 1,900 pips off one trade. 1,900 pips off one trade. And you see what happens again. It creates cavities to the upside, right? Nothing major. Cavity to the upside, right? Then you got cavities going down. You got a cavity right there, and this small little hump right there. That's a cavity. Price comes down. You see that? Cavity trade. Real tight stops. I mean, really, actually, that's 200 pips. You just made 1,900 pips. If you traded at the same lot size you traded at before, you're good. If you doubled the lot size you traded at before, you're still good. You're not getting a 1,000 pip pullback at the high of the day. You're not getting 1,000 pips of a pullback on a spike like this. As long as you're in the right place. Now, if you got in here, that same trade is 300, but it's not 1,000. So you're still good, right? So you're still good. Everything is going down. You got a cavity here, no pullback to it. No cavities. Could have been a cavity, slight cavity, but now, right? So in all actuality, you still in this trade. You're still holding this trade. You have no cavities. You could have added on. You got a cavity here, right there, real quick. That's an entry for a sale. Entry for the sale. So that one trade would have made you another. If you look at the cavity you had, boom, that's your entry for the sale. You made another 3,000 pips. So if you doubled your lot size, you didn't triple your account, probably more than that. So if you made 1,900 pips, let's say for instance you made 1,900 off a 0.1, you didn't take a 0.2, you made 6,000 off a 0.2. So now you cut your account at almost $8,000 off two trades with very little drawdown because of these cavities. I'm telling you, these cavities ain't nobody talking about cavities. Why does it matter? It may sound like it's similar, but it's not. It's not similar because it's all about the understanding. Whatever you need to do to get the right understanding, Whatever words you need to use to get the right understanding, do that, right? Here's one for you. Got a cavity to the upside, got a pullback to the cavity, got a buy for the cavity, 700 pips at the high of the day in New York. Here's another one. You got a cavity swoop here, right? You got this low. You got two lows. You got an option. You got here or here. The price comes to both of the lows. Buy. That same trade, that same day, you got in earlier, it would have been 900. Got a cavity here at the low. Swoop up, gave you a higher high with a higher low, higher high with a higher low, and you got two cavities. You got here a higher cavity and a lower cavity. They both were good. So if the lower cavity is obviously the better option for the buy, but both cavities work. To the upside, 1,300 pips. That's all it is. You're looking for some more cavities. You got a high, you got lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Push down. This is a cavity. This whole situation is a cavity. From here on down. So if price pulls back into that cavity, it wants to come down. One trade, 1,100 pips. You're just looking for cavities. No cavity. If you see retracements, we know that's cavities on a smaller time frame, but we're not bouncing back and forth in between time frames. We're trying to get in and get out. We're not trying to make this no multiple day. We've all been there. I know I've been there. I've been there trading so much that it didn't make no sense. All right. I end up having a good day, but it creates a bad habit in me. And it ends up going to taking you to a place that doesn't do you any good. So you got a cavity here, pull back to the cavity for the sale. I'm just saying, cavity here. How I know it's a cavity for the buy? Because price went higher than 1, 2, 3, 4 of the last previous highs. Then price pulls right back to that same cavity and it goes up. Ain't nobody sad about that. That's a nice little trade. 200 pips. I'm just telling you guys, I'm calling it the cavity so you can see what I'm saying. If you can't see what the teacher is saying, it's hard for you to understand when you have to do this visually. You got to know how to see it. If you can't see it, it doesn't matter what you know. You won't be able to identify it. Got the cavity to the downside. That means if price pulls back into this area, I'll need to be selling. I do that. Cavity to the upside. If price pull back into this area, I need to be buying. I does that. Here's one, the same one like we just had earlier. Cavity to the upside. If price pulls back into this area, which it literally did, I need to buy that. So you could have sold until another buy, sold and bought in the same day. Got a cavity to the upside. I don't know. After I hit this low price, continuing to go up, it pulled back into this cavity, and this cavity. So I mean that's perfect. That's a perfect entry. Even if I get hit, even if I go to this cavity, I got how much drawdown? 50 pips of drawdown. If I go into the next cavity, which would be this one, it barely touched it. But that's still that's no drawdown. That's no drawdown for what? 900 pips, 1,000 pips? It's the cavities, y'all. Lower low, lower high, lower low, into the cavity. Boom. That's all it is, y'all. So I don't want to, bore y'all with this, but I'm just trying to, reiterate what I was saying earlier. You got to know what you're looking at. So this is called cavity trades again. I'm gonna save it to my page, and then I'm gonna save it to my YouTube page and upload it to my Facebook group. But come on, y'all, it's getting easier. It's getting easier and easier. You still need to have the discipline. You still need to know what you're looking for. But it's the cavity trades, y'all. All right, it's your boy Mentor. All right, I'm out.